Near mint condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
This is Mr. Chris Claremont, a legend.
Melody goes,
Hey all you Minties, Amazing Amanda here, and I've got an advanced look at Vault Comics' Dying Inside, so stay tuned. This video is sponsored by Vault Comics, and I just want to give them a big thank you for giving us this very advanced copy of the graphic novel Dying Inside, because this doesn't even come out until September of this year. So big thank you to Vault, really appreciate letting us do this overview. So let's quickly talk about this book before we get into the artwork. So Dying Inside is a graphic novel from Fall Out Boy's Pete Wentz with his close collaborator Hannah Klein. Hannah Klein is the main writer of the novel, graphic novel, and then Lisa Sterle is our artist and colorist. And you've probably seen her work before at Vault. She's also done Witchblood as well, one of their other series. Highly recommend. We actually had a chance earlier to interview Hannah and Lisa, and of course editor-in-chief Adrian from Vault Comics about this graphic novel. So if you want to check out that interview, the link will be provided below for you guys to check that out. So now let's talk about the book. Before I do an overview of this graphic novel, I did want to just give our viewers a heads up, because I know sometimes if you have issues of, hearing about or talking about things like suicide or anything along those natures, I do want to let you know we will briefly be touching upon that, because that is the central piece of the plot of Dying Inside. So this is that warning right now. So let's get into it. Dying Inside is about a 16-year-old girl named Ash who is full of angst. She is obsessed with her favorite musician, Elliott Smith, who had tragically committed suicide by way of stabbing himself with a knife. And Ash is depressed and unable to, function with that. And while she's been going through medication and therapy, she's just not happy and decides that she wants to kill herself and do it in the same way of her idol. So she gets on a web store, purchases this really fancy knife, and then what happens is it ends up giving her immortality. So what she finds out is that this knife is cursed, or is it blessed? Well, what she has to do now that she realizes that she can no longer harm herself at all, she tries to track down the witch, or the person that she had bought the knife from, who turns out to be this young 16-year-old witch named Liv, who is the complete opposite of Ash in many ways. She is very bubbly and optimistic, and yes, she is a practicing witch, and of course she did not intend for this to happen. She had just put a blessing on the knife, and of course this is what happens in the cascading of events. So the story kind of follows the two of them trying to figure out how to undo this curse for Ash, and then along the way they also have to encounter this weird prescription drug called Somnia, which is some type of a anti-anxiety depression medication that is being peddled on the market, but causing some very strange side effects. And somehow maybe Ash's, not stepdad, but mom's boyfriend might be involved in some way. So of course, the whole story centers around the two of these girls going on this quest to undo the curse, also track down what's going on with this prescription drug Somnia. But in the main story, it's about these two young girls who throughout their time together start to learn more about their friendship, grow in their friendship, become very close, and also about what it's like to deal with mental health and dealing with others who have mental health issues, and how to help them through it and how to help them overcome those issues. So there's a lot of deeper themes in Dying Inside, but also there's a little bit of a comedic look to the story as well. It's definitely what I would consider a dark comedy. So while there are, talks of suicide and self-harm, but it's done in a way that kind of brings it in a lighthearted tone, but not to make light of the situation, but to help those who might be dealing with these types of feelings see it from a more sardonic viewpoint. And so that's really what they're taking from the novel. So now that we've gotten a chance to do an overview, let's go ahead and look at the artwork. Oh wait, those aren't my hands.
No, they're not. They're my hands. This is the Uncanny Omar. I'm going to slide right in here to talk about the actual build of the book, and then Amanda can show you this beautiful artwork. So this is a standard size hardcover, and it is the same dimensions as a trade paperback, meaning that the paper and trim size is that of a single issue. And the book itself is printed in this glossy paper stock, and it has glued binding. And now I'm going to let the amazing Amanda slide right in here to talk about this book. By the way, I know she's going to say this throughout, but this isn't even a finished version of the product. This is an early version of this book right here. So keep that in mind when you're seeing like end sheets like this, especially all the blank pages in the back as she's going to be flipping through here. All right, take it away, amazing Amanda.
Thanks, Uncanny Omar. I really appreciate that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the artwork. So for some of you, you may have already seen some of the opening pages of Dying Inside because a preview of it was available during Free Comic Book Day. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of those in case you've already seen it. So here we go. We're seeing this is Ash. This is our main protagonist of the story. And you're getting to see some of the way the panels are laid out here, and a little bit of the character design work by Lisa, which I think really helps encapsulate the protagonist of Ash and her journey. And you really have to pay attention to the coloring of this graphic novel as well, because the coloring is very deliberate. Obviously, you can tell that a lot of it's in that black and white shading, but there are elements of color there. As you can see, Ash has a lot of that blue colorization. And then let's go to a little bit further ahead to see Liv. And now you see with Liv, everything that she has is in pink. So you can say there's a very much of a contrast between the two characters and who they are. So let's take a look at some other panels as well. Now, as Omar said, this is a very advanced copy, so it is not even quite the finished product, but you get to get a good idea just by looking at these pages of what the artwork looks like and how well it complements the story. So one thing I did want to say is, yes, while it is a graphic novel with story by Pete Wentz, this is an amazing story. Even if you've never heard of Fall Out Boy before or are not a fan, this is something that I feel like everyone needs to pick up because it's an amazing story with beautiful artwork. Hannah did a really great job of just encapsulating what it means to be a teenager going through mental health issues and, you know, what it's like to find someone who is your other half and become connected with those people and find community around you. So definitely recommend checking out the book just so that you have a chance to see the story itself and how it progresses, and of course Lisa's beautiful artwork. So here's just some of the different panels that kind of show the action taking place and what they go through. And here's where they're meeting some of the witches that Liv works with. And here's where you can tell, yes, they have that amazing different coloring that really just showcases what's going on in the different scenes. This is probably my favorite right here. So this just kind of displays the passage of time between the two characters, and you can kind of see in this passage of time not only the coloring, which showcases how the seasons are changing, but also in the way she draws the characters, how they're starting to get closer together and become better friends by the end. So now this page here is a nice spread page, and it kind of shows you the way the book lays out. And you can see that there's just minor gutter loss, and that's just because of the glue binding. But that right there is the artwork. And as you can see on the back of the book, there's also some blurbs about the book as well. All right, so if the pitch and the artwork have sparked your interest, this is available for pre-order now. The trade paperback will be available at all the retail locations, but if you're looking for a deluxe hardcover edition, those are available only for pre-order through Vault Comics' website, and the links are in our description below. And there are a lot of different hardcovers to choose from. There are signed copies, of course. There's also a glitter edition. I think that's the one I picked up. A glow-in-the-dark edition. And then, of course, they also have some really awesome bundle packs with some different merchandise, including the deluxe edition. So if you're interested in any of that, make sure you check that out at the links below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.